dreams just random images fired from an unconscious brain during sleep? Or something much more important, like life-saving inner guidance? How dreams can be healing and early warning tools for disease, financial crisis, or success. And love is still one of the behavioral science's greatest unanswered questions. Hello, I'm your host, author Kat O'Keefe Kanavos. Welcome to Dreaming Healing, where dreams and cutting-edge scientific research meet on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network. Dreaming Healing is every Tuesday at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern, with live shows on the first and third evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, when you can call in and ask Kat questions about your amazing dreams. Talk on air. Call toll-free, 833-220-1200. That's 833-220-1200. Come live your dreams out loud with Kat.
Good evening, everyone. I'm your host, Kat Kanavos. My name is Kathleen O'Keefe Kanavos, but hey, my friends all call me Kat, so I hope you will too. Last week's show was titled UFO, Contact from the Pleiades with author Britt Elders. It was an awesome show. If you missed it, make sure you go into the archives on my Dreaming Healing website and watch it. It was incredible. If you're only listening to us right now and you don't get to see us, you can, unless you're in your car. You don't want to see us if you're in your car. Just listen on the radio. It's okay. But if you're not, if you're sitting at home and you're just listening to us, go onto my website. You can find it two ways. You can Google Kat, the Queen of Dreams, and it'll come up. Or you can use my name, KathleenO'KeefeKanavos.com, and it'll come up. And if you look at the very top of my website, you'll see these black buttons. The second one from the left will say Dream Visions Radio. Click that, and it'll take you to the website page I was just talking about on Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. And you will scroll down. You'll see everything about our guest tonight, which is it's going to be an incredible show. If you're an author, if you're a wannabe author, or you're just a blogger, you don't want to miss this show. So look for the little YouTube live, click on that, and voila, you get to see us and not just hear us. So tonight's show is Publishing Trends Today, Now, with literary agent Devra Jacobs. So, what is going on in the world with publishing? Everything is changing. Can first-time authors still get traditionally published, or are those days gone? What are the different types of publishing that are available to authors? What are the differences between them? And which one might be the right one for you? If you're looking for a publisher, what are publishers looking for in you? Well, Devra Ann Jacobs, literary agent and owner of Dancing Word Group Agency, is here to answer all of your publishing questions. And she was with us on a previous show titled Devra Jacobs and a Happy Move, available in the archives that I was talking about. When you go to my page on the Dreaming Healing website, look for the archives, click on it, and you can watch her, because not only is she an agent, a literary agent, she's an author who's been conventionally published. So, hey, she knows what she's talking about. She knows the ropes. But before we get started, we have to do our protection meditation. So for those of you who are new and haven't done this with us before, just listen and follow along and everything will be great. The first thing I want you to do is get really comfortable in your seat. I want you to relax, kind of move your neck around, move it around, close your eyes, and we're going to take a deep breath in. Hold it. Imagine any negativity from the past week, getting into that breath of life. Blow it out right into this beautiful purple flame of Saint Germain. See it converted into golden energy, going up through the clouds, through past the planets, up to the pearly gates, making a U-turn and returning to our 7th crown chakra at the speed of thought. And filling our whole body with beautiful golden light. Again, deep breath in. Hold it. Imagine something that you may have said to someone this week that was a little negative. Blow it out. It's not a part of you anymore. Into the purple flame of Saint Germain, where it's converted into the golden energy, sent up to those pearly gates. Watch it make that U-turn and come right back down into your 7th chakra, filling all of your chakras in your body with golden healing light. Feel yourself tingle from your nose all the way down to your toes. One last time, deep breath in. Feel those lungs all the way to the bottom. Think of something from your childhood that was negative that you've been carrying. Blow it out. Gone. Into the purple flame of Saint Germain. See it going up through the planets to the pearly gates. Bouncing off those gates, making a U-turn, coming right back down into your 7th chakra at the speed of thought, filling your whole body with healing, golden light. Now imagine holding something of power in your hand, your power gift. Something, maybe somebody gave you a piece of jewelry, your favorite stone, your favorite flower. Anything that comes from love is a power gift. Hold it in your hand and begin to swing it around your body and your mind, creating a golden mirrored bubble that only allows that which is of the highest and best, brought by our spirit guides and guardian angels, to come into that mirrored bubble. Everything else is reflected back from whence it came. We wish it so, and therefore it is. When you're ready, open your eyes. Feel yourself falling back into your chair. If you're having trouble centering again, put your fingertips together and press. Go into the prayer mode of your hands, and it will pull you into your body because it will activate all the power points in your body. So for those of you still with your eyes closed, you can just listen to me talk about our guest today. Devra Ann Jacobs says, I am proud to represent authors, from first-time authors to New York Times best-selling authors. And she has been an influential businesswoman and speaker. She founded and served as editor-in-chief of Mystic Pop magazine for 9 years until its sale in 2008. Devra has been a successful literary agent, owner of Dancing Word Group Agency since 2008, representing both mainstream and higher consciousness authors. As a representative of excellence, Devra has an extensive network model which aids her in representing her authors. So she does more than just publish you. She has established contacts with both large and small publishing houses. Her drive to represent an interest of her clients comes from a deep-seated basis of ethics, concerns, experience, and understanding. Devra offers services as a literary agent, author, coach to both traditionally published and self-published authors, and she has spent 14 years as an agent. You can learn more about her at dancingwordgroup.com and Devra at dancingwordgroup.com. Both of these links are live on my Dreaming Healing website with the poster for Devra, our guest tonight. Welcome to Dreaming Healing, Devra.
Thank you so much. I love being here.
So, Devra, let's get right into it because I can see that the lines are starting to blow up. I had a feeling that was going to happen. Let's start with what made you decide to become an agent?
It was actually a kind of a comedy of errors that happened, and some not so funny. My mother actually got cancer when I owned the magazine, and I was the owner and editor of the magazine. And I knew I couldn't take care of her and continue with the magazine. So I sold the magazine, and I was on the phone with Ariel Ford, who not only is an incredible author in her own right, but she was an agent prior to being an author. And I said, I just don't know what to do. I need to set my own hours. She goes, you need to be an agent. That's what you need to do. You've got all these contacts after 9 years in publishing. You're a psychic. You've been doing that for 35, 40 years. You should just become an agent. And I went, okay. I tune into Archangel Michael and I hear yes. And so I did, and I found an agent to kind of study from for the first 6 months and then started my own company. And I was really blessed because there were a lot of authors like Lynn Andrews who wrote for the magazine. And as soon as I announced that had become an agent, she's like, "Oh, I need to hire you. My agent passed away." And I
Mhm.
started picking up these great authors, um, immediately, and just sort of fell in every hole you could fall in for the first few years until I learned all the legalities and everything to make my clients, really successful.
Mhm. And I'm going to tell our audience, Deborah's actually my agent and my husband's agent. And I can tell you from experience, she's awesome. I'm serious, awesome. Let me show you how awesome she is. And this is just really short. This book, Dreams That Can Save Your Life, I sent the manuscript into her. And Deborah, what was it? It was like 2 weeks later, we were in a bidding war.
Yeah.
We're in a bidding war. And 5 months later, the book was on the bookshelves and published. And then it was translated into Italian. And shortly after that, it was translated into Chinese. And I don't think it's done. So when I say Deborah knows what she's doing, I mean, Deborah knows what she's doing. So
Thank
Deborah,
you.
let me ask you, can first-time authors get traditionally published, or is that out the window now?
Actually, things shifted so much when Borders bookstores closed because all of the publishers got all those books back, and it really hurt a lot, and a lot of publishers started picking up other publishing imprints that had gone under because of it. And what they realized is a lot of the publishers were having problems because they were dealing directly with authors. And so at that point, this was like 8 years ago, they completely shifted to where they won't work directly with authors anymore. For the most part, you have to have an agent. So, and I have been told by many people recently that it's actually harder to get an agent than it is to get a publishing deal. Um, so, yes, I work probably 50% of my authors are first-time age authors. I like working with first-time authors because I I like to coach them. I'm not a typical agent. Most agents, you bring them a manuscript, they decide if they sign you or not, and once they get you a contract, they disappear. I coach people to teach them, no, you're not ready. You don't have the social media background. You don't have this big a platform, or your website isn't up to where it needs to be. And I really try to prep them. So when I take their book out to a publisher, they're good to go. And So yeah, it's very easy to get traditional publishing if you're a first time author and have what it is you need in place.
Mhm. Yes. And what one of the things you need in place, although the one of the authors I was working with and just sent you doesn't have a big social media platform, but she's going by a pen name. Can you kind of explain to our audience how pen names would work and why in a case like that you might be working with a different type of social media to promote yourself?
Yeah, I actually have one author that I've represented many of her books who is self-help metaphysical, but she also is an author of romance novels and writes those under a pen name because she doesn't want to get the two confused. So that's one reason. It, Sometimes it's important for the safety of the author, depending on what they're writing about, for people not to know who they are. And so in that case, you write with a pen name. And things like that, it's up to the agent to be able to explain to a publisher why that's important and why that's needed. And you could still build social media under your pen name.
Yes, yes. We have a question that just came in here that's interesting. It says, Archangel Michael, I haven't thought of him in years. Now I'm rethinking perhaps he can help me again. I've been looking for inspiration for writing my blog. Speaking of blogs, my friend says I could take my blogs and create a book. Does that really work?
I've actually gotten a couple contracts over the years. I've assisted and represented 76 books in 14 years, which I've been told is a whole lot for an agent. And several of those were originally blogs. I also have coached a couple self-published authors who took their blogs, or one of them even took, she wrote for a newspaper, a column for 20 years, and she took all those columns and put them together in a book. So absolutely, you can do that. You want to make sure, one of the things I tell blog writers is make sure whoever you're working with on a blog, you want to make sure to get their permissions as you're going along and let them know as soon as you're done, because it's really hard to go back and track down people. And because publishers have been sued so much in the last 6 years, they won't do anything unless you have permission with who you're writing about.
Yes, that's absolutely true. And when I did that with my book with Dr. Larry Burke, which was a compilation book, at the time their stories were coming in, I took a picture of their emails that came in giving us permission to not only use their story, but edit their story, understanding that if it goes through a publishing house, they may completely change it around and that's out of our hands. And that was really important. At the time it came in, even if we decided not to use it in the book, we had that information. And then you remember, we just sent that into them, Devra, and they were like, wow, that was brilliant. So
Yeah, and that's part of the preparedness that I try to do as an agent.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, that's great that you're doing this, but please make sure you do this, this, this. Like
Mhm.
citations. A lot of authors write complete books and they're quoting people here and there and everywhere, and they don't cite them. And the first thing the publisher is going to come back and say is, where are the citations? So when you find something, write that down. Take that citation down at the moment. If you end up using it in your book, you're going to need that.
Mhm. Yes, absolutely. You are. I mean, they're just not going to publish your book until they've got it. There's nothing you can do.
All right.
Another question that came in is, I'm not much on social media, maybe because I've been so busy. Can I write a book and get help with the social media part of marketing?
Absolutely. The and it's funny. I tell a lot of people, find somebody that's a senior in college or a senior in high school even. They know more about social media than any of these expensive social media marketing companies that are out there. You know, hire somebody, minimum wage, say, I want to be on this platform, this platform, this platform. This is the name, this is the look, and let them go crazy. It's a great way to inexpensively start building that following, because no agent is going to handle you unless you're writing fiction. Fiction's a whole different animal, but nonfiction, you have to have a platform.
And do you publish both fiction and nonfiction for our audience?
I don't do fiction at all now. I did for the first couple years. Fiction it's like this whole nother creature. And it's funny because my favorite books to read are murder mysteries. And I've always said, if somebody would send me a really good murder mystery, I would probably represent it. But because of the way I work as an agent, and I know you know this, but some others may appreciate it, is because I do have that psychic side to me. I work with Archangel Michael, and if somebody brings me a project that they want me to represent, I actually do dream work on them and on the project. And I want to know, one, is this project going to sell? Is this something that they need more, setup for? Or in a couple of cases, I had very famous author come to me, and I turned her down because in my dream work, I knew she was going to be such a problem and such a diva that I just didn't want to deal with it.
That is so funny. Someone else has asked, how many pages does it take to submit an ebook? Okay.
Well, you never want to do just an ebook. And if you're going to self-publish, always do print and ebook. But you never want to do just an ebook. An ebook is like, nowadays, if all you have is an ebook, it's kind of like self-published books 10 years ago. It doesn't give you the credibility that you want as an author. To have a book, I'm going to twist this question because I know people are going to think about this. How much of a book do you have to have written before an agent will sign it and try to sell it? It's the introduction and the first 4 complete chapters, and the proposal. And the proposal is a big deal. You're not going to get an agent without a good proposal, which I happen to have a free guide on my website that anybody can use. But
good, I used it.
Yeah, I kept having publishers for years telling me, oh, this proposal's missing this or missing that. So I just kept adding it to my proposal outline. And I also believe in mini proposals. It used to be they needed to be like 26 pages. Now editors are so busy that when they get a proposal from me in their email box, they go, oh, this will probably be 5 or 6 pages. Let me go ahead and read it. Instead of sending it to their assistant, it ended up on a stack where they've got 50 they got to read through.
Yeah, the slush pile. We've got to take a quick break, but don't go away, because when we come back, we're going to be asking Devra about AI. A question just came in about AI, and so I think we should address that. So you're listening to Dreaming Healing on Dream Vision 7 Radio. I'm your host, Kat Kanavos, and we'll be right back.
What if dreams can diagnose your life? What if we can meet the love of our life in dreams? Join host Kat O'Keefe Kanavos, the #1 internationally best-selling author of Dreams That Can Save Your Life, written with Duke University medical doctor Larry Burke. Dreaming Healing is where we'll explore dreams, research, and interpret dreams from you, the caller. Dreaming Healing Shows can be heard every Tuesday at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern, with live shows on the first and third evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific Time on syndicated Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. Come live your dreams out loud with Kat.
Are miracles real? Can you move from mayhem to miracles? 30 prominent authors say yes as they share their high fives and down lows of challenges, abuse, addiction, and love. Experience hope, the magic elixir of miracles, through the personal stories of New York Times bestselling authors James Redfield, Dr. Bernie Siegel, Sister Jenna, Reverend Temple Hayes, and many more. If you like bestsellers, chaos to clarity, and crappy to happy, you'll love crying and laughing through mayhem to miracles. Sacred stories of transformational hope. Available now on Amazon and in bookstores worldwide.
Did you know that every word you speak matters? What you say and how you say it can make or break a relationship or shift the outcome of any situation. Are your conversations making a difference? Faith in God, gratitude, authenticity, and giving are Teresa Velarde's heart. It's in this spirit that she's focused on making a difference in the lives she's blessed to touch. Conversations That Make a Difference is now on syndicated Dream Vision 7 Radio Network every Tuesday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time, with live call-in shows every first and third Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern.
In a world facing annihilation, a miraculous African nun rises to become the first female pope through a web of war, murder, and betrayal. Loved by some, hated by many, she becomes the deadly target of Islamic terrorists and her own cardinals as she introduces a new vision that will either save humanity or accelerate its destruction. 4 people must race against a nuclear holocaust to learn her astonishing secret. Pope Annalisa is available at petercanova.com, Amazon, and other online booksellers and bookstores worldwide.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
Welcome back to Dreaming Healing, everyone. I'm your host, Kat Kanavos. We're so glad you're here. And if you're just tuning in now, our guest tonight is Devra Jacobs. She is a literary agent and also a published author. So it's like she knows what she's talking about here when she's giving us some great advice on how to get published. Just before we went to break, we got a question in. So Devra, I'm going to hand this question over to you. It says, I've seen Facebook advertisements suggesting that AI, artificial intelligence, would write a book before lunch. Is this in any way legit?
You know, I actually got a manuscript this week where the author wrote it with AI.
Oh no, how could you tell?
Because he told me he was very proud of himself. He wrote like 70 pages of an outline and then submitted it to the AI program and came up with 80 pages of a book. I refuse to represent it. And there's a couple reasons why. One, you know, I think that it's a cherished profession. It's a wonderful thing to be able to put your voice into words and on paper that you can share. AI, frankly, and you know me, I shoot from the hip, so I won't swear, but it's cheating. It's just cheating. It's just like going into me, because AIs are programmed, right? They're given all of the information in the world into a program. So when let's say you're trying to say something about hypnosis, the AI may turn around and quote somebody else's hypnosis book because they've got to get that information from somewhere. The second reason I will not represent a book that's done in AI is I want my authors out there doing book signings and speaking engagements. And if you don't sound like your book, If you're not as intelligent as what people are reading, you're going to be marked as a fraud and you're going to fail.
Mhm. Yes. You know, your book needs to have your voice. And an AI voice is not your voice, it's a robot's voice. So that's something to definitely keep in mind. So, Devra, can you tell us what the different types of publishing are available to authors now and
Sure.
what differences between them?
They're basically three formats of publishing. There's traditional publishing, that's the big companies, the Simon and Schusters and all of that. Then there's the niche model, which I hate, which is like Balboa Press. Yes, I'm going to mention their name because they swear that they're related to Hay House and they're actually not. They paid a license use of name. Um, and those niche companies are the ones that say, oh, for $6,000, we will do everything and produce your book and design your cover and all that. Well, you can do it yourself for probably around $2,000. So the third niche or the third part is self-publishing. Self-publishing actually is kind of taking over because traditional publishers are being really stupid in their approach. Now, I work with a few publishers that I've worked out special deals, getting better commissions and things for. But self-publishing, you're getting like 38% royalties. You can also get a book out there on the market within 2 months. Traditional publishing, you've got a minimum of 1 year from the time you sign your contract until that publisher is going to release it. But publishing houses have they have the years of expertise. If you're going with a good one, they have really good marketing teams that understand the wholesale background end of marketing. They have the connections to the buyers for the bookstore chains and things. Self-publishing, you got to do it all yourself.
They've also got the foreign publications available to them. So they can your book can be translated into different languages and sold on the international
Well, they
market.
have, let me clarify because I did run into this last month. They actually have foreign rights agents they work with. So you're giving the rights, and I do want to mention this of how this is with giving the rights, because I think people misunderstand that when you go traditional publishing, you are literally giving your baby up for adoption. Yeah, you ran into this, so I know you can speak to this. You have no rights to use anything that's in the book while it's in print. It belongs to them. Their editors will go through and they try to change everything. Now I make sure I protect my authors, and there's certain things that they can't do. But like Llewellyn changed a fantastic title of one of my author's books that was supposed to be Angelic Intelligence, and they insisted on changing it to Angels and Goddesses. It's an incredible book, but it's not going to sell because of the title. She has no control over that. So that's another reason some people choose self-publishing, because you have control over everything.
Let's while we're on this, while we're on conventional publishers, let's talk about the advances, because I've had people say to me, well, I don't want to self-publish because I want the big advance. And I'm like, an advance is something you have to pay back through your royalties. They're not buying your book. They're not giving you money. So
well, and the advances are horrible now. Since COVID, even Simon and Schuster, who used to be like, oh, we'll give them $20,000, $40,000 advance. They don't do that anymore, even for very famous authors. All of the publishers, even the big boys, figure how many books they think you're going to be able to sell really in the first 6 months. And because your royalties are about $1.25 a book, they base that on the advance. So if they think you're going to sell 2,000 books in the first 6 months, they may offer you a $3,000 advance or a $3,500 advance. You do have to earn that out. But if you have a good agent, if the book for some reason fails, you don't ever owe them that money back. But
Oh,
you
I
do
didn't.
have to earn it out before. And there are a lot, I've worked with clients where they have signed these. They were so excited about getting published, they didn't read the fine print, they didn't have an agent, and they now owed the publishing house back money.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I don't play that at all with any of my contracts. But you do have to earn that back out, as you said. So,
It's not
and
free.
then they
Yeah.
really expect you to use that advance toward a publicist because they do the wholesale marketing. Most of them do not do any retail marketing, like booking you on radio shows. And I know you've run into this too. The companies have very minimal because you got a publicist working for the company who's juggling 10 book releases at once. And they really don't care if you don't get 50 interviews. They're happy if they get you 3. So
Yes.
you have to have your own PR people.
And you have to, you have to be able to go in there and do that trench work. You, as the author, must, cut wood, carry water. Be prepared.
Great expression for it. And that's why I do offer the coaching now. On my website, there's outlines about coaching because really it's not hard to do a lot of this. And there's a fantastic book called Guerrilla Marketing for Authors. And it's one, I have sticky notes everywhere in this book. It's like 1,000 free or cheap ways to market your book.
I love that. And what was that called again? Guerrilla marketing for authors?
Authors. Yeah, the guerrilla marketing, they've got probably 40 books, but you want the guerrilla marketing for authors. And it's a great book. It's a great tool.
That sounds interesting. I'm gonna definitely check that out. So we're getting ready to go to another break at 44 after, but I want to get this in. If somebody listening tonight is looking for a publisher, what are the publishers looking for as far as authors go? If I'm an author looking to get in with a big publisher, what are those publishers looking for?
Well, I will tell you the number one thing is don't look for a publisher. Look for an agent.
Okay, so then
You
let's back
have to have an agent. If not, it's like buying a house without a realtor. You want somebody there that's in the middle that understands all that fine print and legalese. So but what they're looking for is they're looking for platforms. They're looking for people who are going to want to sell their own stuff, that are going to get off the couch and get on interviews and go to bookstores and do signings. If you're not as excited about your work, they're not going to be excited about you.
Okay, so then if you're an author looking for an agent, what are the agents looking for? Because I have heard, oh my gosh, I belong to so many of these different groups on Facebook and Twitter, and they go, I've just been turned down for the 103rd time. I'm ready to cry my eyes out. What are the agents looking for? That they don't.
Well, I'll tell you, when I get a proposal, the number one thing I look at is one, don't send query letters. I hate that. I get these query letters and there's no proposal. There's like a query letter, I'm looking for representation. And then there's 3 paragraph synopsis of their book. Well, it doesn't tell me anything about them. I want to see a proposal. I want to see the proposal is sort of an example of how they're going to write or how they're going to talk, how they're going to carry themselves, how much effort they put in. I got a proposal yesterday where they had used a program and it says like there's sections and it says, put in 3 paragraph synopsis. And he left all this information. So all of the instructions throughout his proposal, he left it in there. I'm like, I don't want to represent somebody who can't pay attention to the details. The other thing is, don't ever send an agent anything you haven't edited. I have gotten manuscripts that in the first 10 pages, I have redlined typos and spelling errors about 50 times, and I just throw them in the trash.
Yes, that is really, really so important. So before we go to break in about 3 minutes, you've made an incredibly generous offer to authors who are going to be on the Dreamy Writers Conference cruise that I'm going to be hosting, that's going to Alaska in August of 2025. It's on my website. And I'm going to be talking about that, more about that at the end of this show. But can you share with our audience what it is that you offered to do?
Well, I offered to take and a look at all of their proposals. Anybody who wanted to send me a proposal that attends that cruise, and which I may actually still end up being on that cruise. We don't know yet. But yeah, I'm more than happy to take a look at proposals, from anybody attending a cruise. And if you have an idea you're thinking about, I may want to write a book, shoot me an email saying, I know you through Kat's show. What do you think of this idea? I haven't started writing. I don't know if I'm gonna write, but a lot of times I will tell you, books aren't supposed to be published. A lot of times the book you need to write is for your own therapy.
It's cathartic. Yeah. And so the very first book that I wrote, Surviving Cancerland, this was before I had met Devra, and my agent at that time died of a heart attack. So I was trying to do this all on my own, and I finally just gave up and went with hybrid publishing. And it turned out that Blackstone Publishing came in, picked up that book and did the audio and did a CD for it and took that over. So that was wonderful. But that whole book is nothing but my journals when I was going through surviving cancer 3 different times. And so it was cathartic for me because I was able to look back and see how far I had come when I thought that I wasn't improving at all. But most of all, by sharing my experiences and coming through that dark cloud, I was able to help a lot of other women who were going through that same crisis. So sometimes that's what you need to do with your book. Your book's not so much for you, although it is to a big degree. It's for somebody else to be able to survive the storm. And I think that's important. Yeah. So
I'm sorry. I was also going to say, one of the things I always recommend, if you think you want to write a book, go on Amazon and see how many books are already out there that along the same subject, because yours may or may not ever sell.
That's true. And I found this tightrope walking really challenging. You don't want to be the first one to write a totally different book that nobody has heard the subject matter about before. But at the same time, you don't want to be repetitive of something somebody else has written. So you kind of have to be able to say, it's like this, but different. That's right.
Well, like you and I always talked about, one of my frustrations, because I have been in New Age land forever, is I got so tired of the secret after the secret before the secret. What if there isn't a secret? It's like, don't send me anything like that. Then it was Eat, Pray, Love, and everybody wanted to write one of those. Yeah, don't reinvent the tire.
Yeah, exactly. Make a new tire. Make one that doesn't use air and say, it's like a tire with air, but not,
but
then
niche-y.
you've got their interest. Yes, you've got their interest. Well, it's time to take another quick break, but when we come back from the break, I'm going to ask Devra to share her funniest publishing story with us. And I didn't give her any warning about this before the show. So she's got the commercial to think about it. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
What if dreams can diagnose your life? What if we can meet the love of our life in dreams? Join host Kat O'Keefe Kanavos, the #1 internationally best-selling author of Dreams That Can Save Your Life, written with Duke University medical doctor Larry Burke. Dreaming Healing is where we'll explore dreams, research, and interpret dreams from you, the caller. Dreaming Healing shows can be heard every Tuesday at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern, with live shows on the first and third evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific Time on syndicated Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. Come live your dreams out loud with Kat.
Why are we here? How can we be happy? Questions asked from millennials to boomers. Crappy to happy. Sacred Stories of Transformational Joy answers them using true stories of grit, grace, and love. James Redfield, author of The Celestine Prophecy, wrote in the foreword, "This book is a seminar about emerging truths and offers grounded solutions through the art of the comeback." Dr. Bernie Siegel, a contributing author, wrote, "Bodies die, but spirits and consciousness survive and recycle." So, grab some tissues, open your book, and prepare to cry and laugh till it heals. Crappy to Happy by Reverend Ariel Patricia and Kathleen O'Keefe Kanavos. Available from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and booksellers worldwide. Darkest hours to brightest moments. Transformation from despair to happiness. And chaos to clarity. Real people, real pain, real healing. Life-threatening illness, death, abusive relationships, divorce, and overcoming addiction are challenges these men and women faced head-on. See how they emerged stronger and happier. Buy the new book, Chaos to Clarity, Sacred Stories of Transformational Change by Reverend Patricia Caginello and Kathleen O'Keefe Kanavos. Available on sacredstoriespublishing.com and worldwide through Amazon and other retailers.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
Welcome back to Dreaming Healing on Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. I'm your host, Kat Kanavos. And if you're just tuning in, we're going into the third part of our show tonight, and we have guest Devra Jacobs, who is a literary agent and a published author with us tonight, answering all your questions. And so just before the break, I asked her to share with us one of her funniest publishing stories. So take it away, Devra.
You know, I actually love this question. Nobody in like 14 years has asked me this question. And I love this because I used to go to New York. Okay. And when I first became an agent, I actually worked for an agency for about 6 months to kind of learn the ropes. And I kind of learned everything I never wanted to do as an agent. So I go to New York. I was there from Wednesday to Friday. I had 16 meetings with editors at publishing houses, back to back to back to back. I was exhausted and I was depressed because everybody kept turning me away and turning me away. So finally, I had a meeting with a senior editor from one of the really big publishing houses. And she says, you know, it's Friday afternoon. Let's go to happy hour instead of meeting in the office. I was like, okay, cool. So we go to happy hour. Needless to say, a few drinks in, I said, okay, I'm just going to be honest. Why did you turn down the person's manuscript that I brought you? She says, because of who you work for. I went, huh? She goes, every time I get an email from that company, I don't care who the agent is, I hit delete. She said, so I said, so did you not like the manuscript? She said, no, I love the manuscript. And I said, so what do I need to do to get you to buy this book? She said, you need to have your own company. I sat back. Of course, I'm like 4 or 5 rum and cokes in by then, right? I said, okay. I picked up my phone. I called my boss. I said, I quit. I looked at her. I said, I have my own company. Now, will you give me a contract on this? She goes, what's the name of your company? I started kind of laughing. I said, she says, what does books mean to you? What is that feeling? I said, well, it's like words dancing in my head. She goes, okay, that's it. We got it. Dancing Word Group. And I had a contract on that book the next day.
What a great story. Oh my goodness, I love that. Oh my
I
goodness.
love, and it just launched. I flew back to Arizona and said, okay, what kind of paperwork do I need to file? Because I had to have something legal before she'd actually send me the contract for the author. Called the author, said, I got you a deal.
And so then you were your own agent in your own agency, and
Yep.
you didn't have to answer to anybody else. And did you feel like you had learned enough from all the other people you were learning from to be able to? I mean, I'd be afraid of
Yeah.
just falling on my face totally.
Well, I had been in real estate years before that, and I'd taken tons of Tony Robbins classes. And he always said, if you don't know something, go interview somebody who does. And so I started doing that. I started going agents who I knew from having had the magazine, said, can I pick your brain? What does this mean? What does this term mean? Because there's a lot of stuff. Well, you're married to a lawyer, you understand there's a lot of stuff in contracts that, it went right over my head. And so I just started picking, I would call publishers who I'd interviewed their authors for the magazine and say, what does it mean when a contract says this? What does first right of refusal mean? And I just taught myself.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, believe it or not, we're just about out of time, Devra. Our shows are like classes. We just teach everybody so much on these shows, and they go so fast. So is there anything else you'd like to leave our audience with tonight before you go?
Just, use the proposal that's on the website, dancingwordgroup.com. Use the proposal. Don't listen to a lot of the stuff that, people who have been published 20 years ago are telling you, because it's not the same anymore. It has completely turned itself upside down. And write for you. Don't write for the first question I ask somebody when they come to me is I say, why do you want to write a book? Why do you want to publish? And they say, oh, well, I want to make money. I say, I'm not your agent. Because only 1% of all published authors make more than $5,000 a year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's not the goal.
No, it's to make a difference. I think that's really the goal, is to make a difference. And if you get the money also, hey, great.
I have no objection to making money. Don't get me wrong. But I want that to be the byproduct of good work, not the goal of your work.
Yes. So, to wrap up the show tonight, whether you're considering self-publishing, hybrid publishing, or conventional publishing, times in the industry, as we've just learned from Devra, are changing. And it helps to have someone who has their finger on the pulse of the publishing industry in your corner to help you with those ropes. And that's Devra. Seriously, that's Devra. And she's so approachable, and she's so understanding. So if you're considering publishing, I mean, she gave you the invitation, just put in the subject matter, heard you on Kat Kanavos' show, and see if you and Devra can make it a connection. For those of you tonight with the dream tip, I'm going to tie it right into the publishing world. authors use your dreams to allow you to visit emotional places within you without allowing those emotions to rule you. Okay? Your dreams can be a safe place that can help you bring the emotion into your writing. And that is the blood that brings life to your book. Don't let us read the emotion. Let us experience your emotion. So make sure you're writing what you know. Upcoming events. It's the Spirit of the Sea Dreamy Writers Conference Cruise we were talking about. And the last one that we went to the Bahamas in Mexico from San Diego back to San Diego was awesome. So now we are doing it to Alaska, August 24th through the 31st, 2025, round trip from Seattle. And what I didn't even know at the time is that is the first week of the Aurora Borealis.
Oh,
I was
wow.
like, why is this cruise filling up so quickly? I mean, I've got people falling out of trees here at the country club that are joining the cruise, going with us, that aren't authors, they're not writers, but they don't care. By the time they leave the cruise, they'll know how to write at least a blog. So it is going to be a week at sea, and we're going to have these great, fun, interactive workshops that will help you organize your writing, your books, your blogs, social media promotions, book proposals, while tapping into your dreams and imagination for depth of emotion while you're writing. So if you're interested, go to my website, Kathleen O'Keefe Kanavos. You'll see this right up there at the top, and click on it. You'll get all your information. Reserve your space now for more than a year and a half away. Seriously, it's filling up because it's the first week of Aurora Borealis. Reserve your space with Michelle. Call Michelle at 800-658-6869 and ask for Kat's Writers Cruise. And remember, all the cruises are 100% refundable up to 90 days prior to the cruise. Before we leave, up to 90 days, get it all back. And remember to hurry, because that early bird gets the cruise. And in some cases, they may get the publisher because they may get the agent, as we talked about on the show tonight. And the other thing is, don't leave after the show tonight here on Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, because Peter Canova also signed with Devra Jacobs, is going to be doing his show, Quantum Spirituality, which is the name of his book, and it's coming up next, like right after this show. So until next time, remember, everybody dreams, but some dreams change lives and some dreams save lives. Use your dreams to help you write. Thank you, Devra, for being with us tonight. It's been such a pleasure.
Much.
And thank you, Rachel, our producer, for sending all the questions. I didn't even get to them all because we would have needed 3 hours, and Devra's got a dinner engagement. So until next time, everybody, good night.
Thank you for joining us this evening, and a big thanks to our producer. Tune in next time to Dreaming Healing for more cutting-edge research, live dream interpretations, and stories with radio host and award-winning author Kat O'Keefe Kanavos. Listen every Tuesday at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern Time with call-in live shows on the first and third evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific Time on syndicated Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. Remember, everyone dreams, but some dreams save lives. Live your dreams. Find more about Kat at KathleenO'KeefeKanavos.com. That's Kathleen with a K. OKEEFEKANAVOS. Or The Queen of Dreams on Google search.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy.